At UFC 252, Stipe Miocic defeated Daniel Cormier via unanimous decision to retain his title. Daniel Cormier recently sent a message to his supporters, fellow opponents, and the UFC. He posted this on his Instagram with the caption, "Thank you all for the love and support. Not what I wanted or expected, but it is what it is. Congrats to Stipe Miocic on a fantastic fight. Was an honor and pleasure to share the octagon with you for 50 minutes. Boy, did we give him a show every time. To my team, I love you all to death. You have made so many sacrifices. I hope I made you guys proud. Selena and the kids, thank you for being my motivation. To all the fans, I love you so much. You guys pushed me to try and be great. To Dana White and the UFC, I have loved every minute. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Been hell of a ride, huh?" Stipe Miocic commented on the post saying, "It was an honor. Nothing but respect for you and your team." A featherweight bout between Chan Sung Jung vs Brian Ortega has been targeted for a UFC card on 17th of October. Chan Sung Jung is coming off a TKO victory over Frankie Edgar, and Brian Ortega is coming off a TKO loss to Max Holloway. A 3-round featherweight bout between Sodiq Yusuff vs Edson Barboza has been targeted for a UFC card on 10th of October. Sodiq Yusuff is coming off a unanimous decision win over Andre Fili, and Edson Barboza is coming off a split decision loss to Dan Ige. Dana White at the UFC 252 post-fight press conference says that Israel Adesanya vs Paulo Costa will be fight of the year.
I'm very excited about what's coming up in the fall. We have a ton of fun fights. And like I said, Adesanya versus Costa right now is the fight of the year. I mean, I predict that's going to be an incredibly badass fight. I don't know what you guys think, but I predict that's fight of the year. Fight of the year.
Here's a photo of both Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera at a supermarket just before their fight at UFC 252. Francis Ngannou on his YouTube channel says they would like to run it back with Derek Lewis once again.
Will I fight Derek Lewis again at some point? Obviously, yes. I think it's a fight that I should do it again, the rematch, because actually I never fight for that fight. I wasn't there. And then I didn't do great, so yes, I want to fix it. Do I gonna be next? Yep. According to what Dana said, according to where we are, yes, I'm confident that I'm next, that I'm going to be fighting the winner of tomorrow.
Henry Cejudo reacted to Sean O'Malley's TKO loss to Marlon Vera. He posted this on his Twitter saying, "Like I said, all bark. Hashtag UFC 252. He followed up with, "I fought DJ and Marlon with no legs. This two-pump chump broke his nail and can't compete. Hashtag levels." Justin Gaethje in a recent interview says that he's ready for Khabib's wrestling.
A lot of experts are saying that you're about to be in a fight, 5 rounds, underneath Khabib. Are you ready for this scenario, for this game plan?
Absolutely. It's a little vulgar, but if one man can hold me down, then two can hold me. No man can hold me down. That's what I count on. So I'm not going to spend 25 minutes underneath him. He needs to be on top for about 9 minutes to win, and that's going to be very hard to keep him from doing. He's great. He's great at what he does. He always has been. But I need to create danger. Car crashes. I need to create car crashes, violent car crashes. Because when that happens, somebody usually gets hurt, and I'm willing to, be the one that gets hurt in order to hopefully take him out.
Tyron Woodley on his Instagram Live explains his game plan against Colby Covington.
One thing my coach told me about this fight, he said, "Tyron, he said, anytime you move forward and you come out of the gate on a motherfucker, you never lose. Can't nobody ever fuck with you." He said, "Come out the gate, but hold your ground." He's going to fight back. And we know that. He got good condition, good shape. You know what I mean? He has to fight a certain type of way to win. So he said, hold your ground. Don't ease up. He said, bust out the gate blazing and don't back down. Don't back down. And if you really think about it, it takes more energy to think about, to hesitate, to react, to wait on it. He said, don't wait on him. Be yourself. Be every bit of you. And don't wait on him. If his version comes forward, address it. Rely on your defense. Rely on your drilling. Rely on all the training. Rely on your muscle memory. Rely on your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu. You know, you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You freaking all-American wrestler. You got some of the heaviest hands. You got a high fight IQ. Just basically rely on that, but be you. Be all of you in that octagon. And I'm like, that's so true, because sometimes people will weather that storm and then they'll come out blazing. And if you're not used to people weathering that storm, it can freak with you mentally. But when you stay in that pocket and you're like, fuck it, and you bite your mouth guard, you're like, nah, I ain't moving forward. It becomes a tug of war. And I just got a feeling that anybody in the octagon with me that's locked in there with me, they're not gonna win that tug of war. If I hold to, if I stay on my grind, I'm thinking I'm sharper, I'm punching better, I'm punching harder, more technical, more power. And the ability to hit you with one punch and knock you down and push you out and separate you from your consciousness is gonna always go to me. So that's what my game plan is, guys.
Yeah. Driving left. Straight two. Half up. Boom.
Cody Garbrandt in a recent interview speaks on how he got started in MMA.
I got into fighting through, I would say, wrestling. My mother put me and my older brother in wrestling at a young age. And it kind of just, transpired us to be motivated and dedicated to that sport. My uncle was an ex-boxer, so he boxed. He trained a lot of local athletes or fighters in the area. And I would sneak off to the gym with him and train with him, through adolescence, early teenager to adult. And so it just kind of all transitioned into mixed martial arts and started getting popular, and it was just no questions. That's what I wanted to do.
Ray Longo on the Anik and Florin podcast gives his thoughts on Chris Weidman's performance against Omari Akhmedov.
Yeah, well, look, I'm really happy for him. He got the win. It wasn't the way I expected it to go, and he really had to dig down deep after the second round, which is a good takeaway. And I think moving forward, you're going to see him really rely on his wrestling, go back to his roots, because I think he's so strong there when he's on. So he'll make some adjustments there. But he did say the floor was slippery, so he was struggling with his footwork and his footing in the octagon. And I think that had something to do with it. But, all in all, I think, look, he was under a lot of pressure. He needed a W. I mean, before the fight, it was like, look, we're going back to what got you here. I want you to try to blend the stand-up in with the wrestling as best you can. But let's go to where you're strong. And, we knew even if he didn't get him down, the other guy would have to gas out also, because that's a lot of pressure defending against that guy, especially when he's relentless. So, I was happy for a bunch of things. And again, I think the pressure that was on him, he is human. He needed that W. We actually even went through it, like, forget entertaining anybody, because sometimes that's where you go. You want to do the right thing. Everybody likes an a knockout of it. That, man. Get the W. It's one fight at a time. If you're going to do this, get serious. And it's really one fight at a time. I wouldn't even talk about title, anything. Just give me, I want to grow. If I'm going to do it again, let's just go one fight at a time. And like, again, I'll let you talk, but again, like in the gym, I don't see anything like, what goes on in the octagon. He's still crushing people in the gym. Yeah. He's still super talented. And I'm hoping that the W really gives him the confidence to, move forward in a positive manner.